friends, this is Jake from McLean Prez, and today we're going to talk about a conversation that Jesus had in John chapter 8. I'm curious if you've ever had an argument with someone that, looking back, it just seems so silly and pointless. I know when my wife and I first got married, we had so many little arguments about things like how to load the dishwasher or what temperature to keep the thermostat on in our house. And now looking back, they all seem so silly and inconsequential. Or even sillier, I don't know about you, but I remember as a kid having arguments with some friends about whose dad was stronger. I can still remember this argument once where one of us would say, well, my dad did such and such, or my dad can do this. And it was this back and forth playground argument that looking back seemed so silly. Well, there's a conversation that Jesus is having with a group of Jewish leaders in John chapter 8, and it sounds at first a lot like a playground argument over who's got the coolest dad. But of course, the point was so much more consequential than that. Take some time to read this passage, John 8, on your own, but what happens is basically this. Jesus is talking about his own father when the Jews begin to talk about their father, Abraham. Jesus responds to them by saying that their father wasn't Abraham or God, but he said that their father was the devil. And as you can imagine, this did not go over too well. See, Jesus pointed out to them that if they were the children of Abraham, then they would do the things that Abraham did. But he said, no, you're trying to kill me. I've told you the truth that I bring from God. Abraham didn't try to kill me. You're doing what your father, the devil, does. But the thing is that this was never really an argument about their dads or their ancestry. This was an argument about Jesus' very identity. See, if you were just standing along watching this conversation, it may have seemed that Jesus was out of his mind. He was saying some pretty outrageous things for that day and things that would seem pretty outrageous for our day too. He said that he was sent by God the Father, that he had come from heaven, and he said, whoever believes in me will never die. And with each statement, the religious leaders grew more and more upset. But then Jesus makes this statement. He says, before Abraham was, I am. And this word, the Greek word that in English we have translated to I am, is the same translation of the Old Testament when God revealed himself to Moses at the burning bush. What this means is that Jesus was openly claiming to be Yahweh, the Lord God. And that was just too much for those Jewish leaders who heard it. So much so that they picked up stones to throw at him. And if you think about it, even today, when people come face to face with Jesus as he truly is, there's often a really strong reaction. Some respond in worship, others ask for his mercy, and still others, like this group of religious leaders in John 8, they look for rocks to throw at him. You see, how we respond to Jesus matters. How we respond to what he has done for us. It's what really counts. It doesn't matter if you can trace your lineage back to Abraham. It's not about who has the coolest dad or mom. It's not about whose kids you are, even though there are great blessings that come along with being part of a family. It's not about your race. It's not about your nationality. It's always been and always will be about Jesus. He was there before Abraham. He was there before Adam. He was there before there ever existed. The only thing that matters in this life and the next is whether or not we belong to him. Guys, thanks for joining us again today for this devotional. I hope it lifts your spirits, encourages your souls. Take a look at the questions, pray about it, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.